Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you your daily Nvidia report for Thursday, May 22nd, 2025. Let's take a look at the charts. I will start with, where are you? I don't think it's there anymore. Well. There was a long-term buy signal that I wanted to show you about a month ago. Here it is in part, above this 105.32 4 or 5 month descending channel top. And that was a settlement above that 4 weeks ago this Friday that set up a buy signal that is expected to ultimately yield 153.13 as a 3 to 5 month target. Now, based on yesterday's activity, which I'll get to in a moment, I think it is there's a very real chance we'll fall back into the 120.67 area over the next week or two, which is a descending 2/3 speed line. In fact, you can see that on the weekly chart, the daily chart, at 119.27, which is backed up by a newly formed rising channel bottom. So let me clarify some of this. We did two things on Wednesday. Key reversal high. We put out a new pullback high following the April low, and we also closed below all of those preceding lows, especially Tuesday's low. So that's a key reversal high. Also, we have a newly formed based on yesterday's activity. These are the things that we can't show you, like we couldn't have shown you the 133.22 channel bottom in Wednesday's analysis because Wednesday, had yet to put out this high. And then when it did so, it fell away. So now we have this very recently formed 133.22 channel bottom. And I bring this up because this is your short sale level for the day and really into next week. Because I do see this market is likely to correct back to the 119.27 speed line. On the way down, we have that old Fibonacci level at 127.72 that I think is in reach today. Holding below, opening below 133.22, 127.72 in reach. I don't like it anymore as a level that could contain session weakness, although it very well may contain today's lows. But bottom line, I do think the key reversal high does indicate over the next 2 to 3 weeks or sooner, this narrowing zone of meaningful support between 113.76 and 119.97. And yes, if we close today below 127.72, I think we'll see that within 3 to 5 days. 113.76 to 119.97 area, able to contain selling through June. And from here, we can round up to new highs within a matter of 2 to 3 weeks. Holding below 119.27 or on the weekly chart, 120.67. We'll keep 153.13 in reach over the next 2 to 3 months, as I've been saying, over the next 3 to 5 months above 105.32. So there you have the downside pretty well. Upside today, if we happen to push, especially open back above 133.22, the 136.35 level in reach, just a mild intraday resistance level. I think that if we close today back above 133.22, that has neutralized the typically bearish effects of the key reversal high that did occur on Wednesday. So that neutralizing of bearish momentum with the settlement today above 133.22 will keep, by the end of next week, that 143.17 channel top in reach. So if you're looking at a 3 to 5 day swing trade to the upside, it's a settlement above 133.22, anticipating 143.17 over that time horizon. If you wanted to wait for a settlement above 136.35, I don't have a problem with that either, but I don't think you have to. I do think that merely closing back above 133.22 is neutralizing enough of that sell signal, which should set off follow-through buying by the end of next week, 143.17 in reach, where we can top out through the month of June perhaps, or well into it, because as I've been saying, once we test this channel top, we can fall back to longer-term support that we presently find in the 113.76 to 119.27 area over the following 2 to 3 or 3 to 5 weeks. But yesterday's activity, we're well on our way to that. I want to mention that on YouTube, you'll probably see it, but on Thursday morning, I'm going to put out a TLT update. TLT is presently violating long-term support. In other words, the TLT is indicating if we close in the vicinity we are now tomorrow, Friday, end of the week, continued interest rate rises in the order of 1.5% on the long bond by the end of the year. And this is due primarily to the kind of the fiscal insanity that is occurring in Washington right now. They're getting ready to pass yet another spending bill that will open an even wider hole in our budget deficit, and our debt to GDP ratio will exceed 130% over the next 5 years. That is like Greece and Argentina, the 1980s. In other words, the world investment community is voting no. Or in other words, you're going to have to pay higher rates if you're going to keep doing this. And that is kind of what we're in right now. And I think that is in large part why we've had the big sell-off in the stock market. The stock market is getting spooked by what it's seeing in the bond market. I would just invite you to watch that TLT video that will come out Thursday morning at some point. Have I said it all? I think I have. I'm trying to think if there's anything left unexplained. We're bearish through the rest of the week and into next below 133.22. No, we did not test the 143.17 channel top. We've been waiting for it for the last few weeks. The market has fallen away, thrown off a key reversal high, and a settlement below 133.22 has indicated 119.27 over the next couple of weeks. And on the way down, once again, 127.72, able to contain intraday, possibly daily selling pressures. If we close below 127.72, that 113.76, 119.27 area likely within probably 3 to 5 days, where we can bottom out through the month of June. So if there's any position to be made right now, 3 to 5 day swing traders to 2 to 3 week swing traders are playing the short side below 132.322. If we close back above 133.22, then it's more of a 3 to 5 day swing trade to the upside, anticipating 143.17, where once again 2 to 3 week swing traders can play the short side in the market, anticipating bearish rotation into later June. But this sounds like I'm very bearish. This is a classic, time frame breakdown. We are in what I would call kind of a near-term sell signal into the 110s over the next 2 to 3 weeks within the confines of a longer-term buy signal that played out 3-4 weeks ago above the 105.32 channel top and secondarily above the 120.67 speed line on the weekly chart. And we'll probably fall back to the speed line over the next week or two. I think that pretty much rounds it out. Please click like, share, subscribe. Also know that wickedstocks.com has put out recent stock picks in Rubrik, GitLab, Wingstop, Landbridge, etc., etc. We put out 2 a week. Always looking for 20% move on those underlying stock picks. You'll also find daily Triple Q, daily SPY analysis, weekly Apple stock analysis, all for a very reasonable $47 a month. So check us out at wickedstocks.com. We offer a 5-day free trial up front. I'll be back tomorrow with Friday's NVIDIA report. You have a great day.